Okay. testing, 1, 2. Welcome to Saturday night NPL Men's New South Wales from Marconi Stadium in beautiful southwest Sydney. It's Marconi Stallions versus Sutherland Sharks, round 21 action. And lovely. There she is, the Palace, Marconi Stadium, a beautiful setting for NPL Men's New South Wales. And thanks for joining us here to enjoy your Saturday night. We certainly hope you're warmer than we are here at the Palace because it's very cold. But one thing that wasn't cold was Marconi's attacking form on Wednesday night, beating Rockdale Illingdon on this patch of grass by 9-0. Can you believe that? And Marconi really staking their premiership claims with such an emphatic victory. But tonight's visitors, Sutherland Sharks, also looking good. Their skipper struck at the death, Mitchell Stamatelis, to secure a valuable point. A 1-1 home draw against Sydney Olympic, Mitchell Stamatelis' former side. So Sutherland would be quietly confident of getting a result here in Bosley Park this evening. Eric Subiani here, battling hypothermia on the top of the Marconi Tower, but I'm really looking forward to calling this one for you. So firstly, the lineups, and for the hosts, Marconi Stallions in goal, number 1, James Hilton, then number 3, Cameron Windust, number 4, Anton Blinaric, number 6, Dominic Costanzo, the hat-trick hero from Wednesday night, number 7, Franco Maya, number 8, Daniel Bowman, number 9, James Temelkovsky, number 10, the captain, Marko Jesic, number 16, Liam Yulee, number 18, George Daniel, and number 23, Brandon Vella. While for Sutherland Sharks, their lineup, in goal, former Marconi goalkeeper, Nenad Vekic. And number 2, Kotaro Katsuta. Number 4, the captain, Mitchell Stamatelis. Number 5, Takahide Umebachi. Number 8, Mohammed Ahmed. Number 11, Jay McGowan. Number 15, Matthew Morich. Number 22, Jacob Garner. Number 23, Ethan Bevan. Number 27, Matthew Jackson. And number 77, Levi Siriaga. So, usual colours for both. For Marconi, they're dressed in the Il Tricolore Italiano, Verde, Bianco, Rosso, and if you need me to say that in English, the green jerseys, the white shorts, and the red socks. While for Sutherland, it's the traditional colours for all Sutherland teams, it seems, a light blue kit. And the officials, Danny Horsted, unless there's been any late changes to the list I've been given. If so, my apologies, but we believe Danny Horsted is in the centre with the whistle. The assistant closest to us, Hayden Mickelmeyer. The assistant on the far side, Ethan Svargulis. And tonight's fourth official is Blake Eastwood. There we go, right on cue. The whistle from Danny Horsted. Away we go. So, for Marconi, always tricky when you've had such a massive result, such a historic result, and then you've got to back up in 3 days' time. What do Marconi do? Well, as I said to a spectator, when I entered the ground, why not aim for double figures? But I suspect that will be quite hard to achieve against a Sutherland side that can be very stubborn and has surprised quite a few of the bigger teams this season. Fight they must. Jesic running towards that fight Sutherland need to do for the remainder of that season. They're right in the mix of that race to escape the bottom 2 of the NPL Men's New South Wales ladder. Sutherland entering this game in second last place, or 15th, with 14 points. 2 points ahead of the bottom team, Central Coast Mariners, who fell to defeat last night at Cromer Park, 2-0 to Manly United. Now, we would have had an earlier kickoff and an earlier score from today to speak of, but as we all know, the weather hasn't been very kind over the last 2 months. So, Olympics planned women's and men's doubleheader. A good idea for the club. They planned a doubleheader at Kogarah, Jubilee Stadium. Unfortunately, that has been washed out, both the women's game and the men's game. So that Sydney Olympic men's home game against RPL Leichhardt will have to be played at a later date. Stamatelis playing it back to Vekic, and then forward it goes. From Marconi, it's a very nice bounce back. Obviously, a 9-0 victory, and before that, last weekend, a 4-1 away triumph over RPL Leichhardt in the Derby d'Italia. And Marconi getting some measure of revenge for losing to RPL Leichhardt in round 7 of the Australia Cup qualifiers and missing out on a place in the national round of 32. Vekic clears there for Sutherland. Header from Bowman, I think it was. And now, it's to the wayside with the ball. Jackson going backwards. And then very keen pressing from Temelkovsky. As you'd expect, Marconi being proactive. That's sent longer. Suriaga, the one chasing it. A bounce, evading him. Now it's the run from Lenaric. Centre back run. We'll have to see that, and he's actually gone all the way to decent crossing position on the left-hand side. Finds Costanzo, and he's a more than decent crosser, and we might see his crossing talent in about 30 seconds. Dominic Costanzo has won the first corner of this evening's game. There's the signal from Marconi's number 6. Flat, too flat from a Marconi perspective. Suriaga gets it out of the box. But back in from Maya, Temokovsky, yeah, but thought that would happen. The flag is up. Flag is up for offside. The two sets of substitutes. Firstly for Marconi, there's the backup keeper Patrick Williams, as well as Nathan Milgate, Dylan Susovic, Alexander Duricic, Miloslav Popovic, and Julian Monge. We might see them later. While for the Sharks, I believe the backup keeper there out of this list would be Jacob Kremen-Cowan. The others are Jordan Roberts, Samuel Gulisano, Max Green, Chris Lindsay, and Iko Aramoto. Touch there, and the Sharks settling it briefly in the middle third. Let's see. Did mean what I said in the intro. I certainly hope you're warmer than we are here, than anyone here at the stadium is. There's a couple of Sharks players wearing gloves I can see, and actually, to be honest, I'm surprised there aren't more players wearing gloves. It's very frigid this evening here in Bosley Park, as Ahmed plays back to Stamatelis. And one of those players wearing gloves on the ball now, Takahide Umabachi. Now, the pressure comes in, and the only backwards option needed to be used was the keeper, Vekic. But, you know what, I mean, very early stages, certainly a long way to go. I don't mind what Sutherland are doing right now, given what Marconi have achieved, 13 goals in the past week, and against fellow Premiership challengers, no less. Sutherland trying to keep the ball as long as possible. As there's a challenge in the middle of the park, referee signals and points at the ball. The drag back from Lenaric, ball playing centre back, and stuff. Now, Temokovsky is forced backwards, and James Temokovsky, Marconi's leading scorer with 14 goals for the season in both League and Cup. It's a very nice start for him. His life as a Marconi player, and Temokovsky. I think that phase of play we just saw where Temokovsky got the ball and was immediately forced backwards, that will be what Sutherland will try to do for the whole game. On the grandstand side of the Palace here. And of course this is one of the few natural grass surfaces left in the competition, but given the recent weather and how soft everything will be, Marconi taking sensible precautions and actually moved the under-20s game to the synthetic field, one of the synthetic fields behind that grandstand that we can see. So well done everyone keeping this stadium in tip-top condition. Umabachi trying to start things, and Suriaga's allowed to turn and get to the edge of the box. He shoots, parried by Hilton. On the follow-up, it's Jackson. It goes over the bar. So the first shots in anger, so to speak, they go the way of the visitors. And if you've tuned in, firstly, thanks so much, but also perhaps a little sign that what happened 3 days ago, well, that was 3 days ago. This is a new game, and Sutherland will be sure, will be very, very keen to not go the same way on this patch as their local rivals did in midweek. So if you did tune in for last night's game at Cromer Park between Marconi and Central Coast, I certainly hope you don't mind hearing my voice again. But yes, last night's action, 2 second-half goals from Manly United, and it really is a case of Fortress Cromer for the team from the Northern Beaches. 5 wins and 1 draw in their last 6 home games. That's taken them. That's taken Patrick Svanswijk's side out of the battle for the bottom 2 and towards mid-table. Goals from Rocco Pele and a very nice first-time strike from outside the box by Miguel Balta, being the super sub once again for Manly. That's how Manly took the points last night. Now, Lenaric slips. Potential chance for Sutherland. Cutback opportunity as well. Here's a chance which is mishit and spirited away from the penalty area. And it was Katsuta with the miss-hit effort. It was a good option to find him. Katsuta, the Sharks number 2, good off-the-ball movement. Vela, I think there was. Can't find Maya, but Franco Maya strong on the tackle and has then won the throw-in also. Vela, long-time Marconi player, goes back to Hilton. Now, Windust. Trying to be diagonal. That's a nice ball to Liam Yulee. He'll try another diagonal to Costanzo. And Costanzo loves running at defenders in addition to whipping in dangerous crosses. Couple of step overs. Costanzo, tricky stuff. And there's the finish from Marko Jesic and the early goal for the Stallions. Marconi have galloped into an early lead. And Dominic Costanzo, so often the creator, has done it once again. Marconi let him cook in the one-on-one situation. He twisted and turned. Found that perfect ball. There's that crossing ability coming to the fore once again. And Marko Jesic, his 13th of the season, certainly unlucky for Sutherland, but it's Marconi 1, Sutherland 0. He started by 2 diagonals. It was Cameron Windust finding Liam Yulee in a lot of space in the middle of the field. Then Yulee decided, want to try another diagonal to find Costanzo. And really, Jesic will get the credit for that strike. His name will appear on the score sheet, but a lot of credit must go to Marconi's number 6 for the role he played in creating that goal. Now, if you're a longer-term fan of Australian football, if you've watched the A-League and even before that the NSL for a while, and if you're wondering, hey, that surname Costanzo sounds familiar. Yes, Dominic is Angelo's son. And Angelo Costanzo, what a player he was, by the way. I'm really testing my memory here as Vela stops the through ball and goes back to the keeper. From memory, Angelo Costanzo, kind of like a sweeper stepping out from the back. I remember that in his Marconi's days. And also a great centre-back in the early days of Adelaide United. A-League men, and I think, from memory, Adelaide United did have one NSL season as well. That runs out for a goal kick. Now, there is, I mentioned the washout between Olympic and RPL Leichhardt, so fortunately we will not hear, or the Football New South Wales viewing public do not get to hear the dulcet tones of William Constantinidis today. I believe he was scheduled to call Olympic versus Apia, but there's 2 other games being played this evening. And if you're the multi-screening type, firstly, hopefully you mute the other ones and keep the volume on this one. That's what I prefer. But the other 7 p.m. kickoff was at Landon Stadium. Hills United versus Wollongong Wolves, and that's I believe a rematch of they played in the Australia Cup qualifiers, those 2 teams earlier this season. Wollongong knocking off Hills that time, and I think it is Ireland's own David Feeney on the mic there from Landon Stadium, and the 7:15 p.m. kickoff from Penshurst Park. It's a battle of 2 recently promoted sides, St George City versus Northwest Sydney Spirit, and that's called by the People's Champion Nicholas Kutniak. I like how Nicholas operates. He's very mobile, brings his own setup, his tables, his monitors as Maya shoots and it goes wide. His own mixer. Jaden knows this very well. He's Jaden, tonight's camera operator, shivering up here with me on the tower, but yeah. It's good to have Nicholas Kutniak as part of the team. He's been doing it for so many years, and he also calls so many other sports. Bekic goes short with the goal kick towards Stamatelis. Now that's Umabachi. And the pressure comes as McGowan. Attempted ball forward, blocked because Mlinaric followed him all the way. Although I think Mlinaric has, in the end, given away a free kick. Now there's the ball, and Kemelkovsky is beaten. Vekic, the angle's tight, but he's round the keeper. Here's Temelkovsky, and it's blocked on the line. and then very much safety first, the option from Stamatelis, and it was almost 2-0. Tamarkovsky was too quick for Vekic. And he had the quick feet to get round the keeper. It's Sutherland and a player on the line just in time. I'll just see if I can catch it on the stream who it was. But that was a very crucial goal line clearance. Possibly Ethan Bevan was the player on the line there for the Sharks, saving the day, but might only be a temporary reprieve. There's the corner, again aiming near post, and it goes back to Costanzo. Well, it's an uncharacteristically heavy touch, but even so, it'll be corner number 3 from Marconi coming up. Now, the whistle, but will go on anyway. And then Maya first time, still alive. Jesic. Eventually, Stamatelis clears. I don't think that was a miss hit from Maya, so I think it took a deflection, so we'll never know what would have happened. And Maya has a thunderous left-footed shot. A good pickup. It was a good pickup for Marconi. Is Franco Maya, having previously spent time at SD Raiders, so it's not too much of a switch geographically. He didn't even have to change his... Didn't really even change colours. Went to another team that has green and red in its colour scheme. Maya dropping deep again, and draws it low. Now Bowman and Tamarkovsky. Tamarkovsky. Now it's 2-on-1 there. And squeezed out there was George Daniel. Let's see, George Daniel, the way I see things at the left back for Marconi this evening, but very, very much a long way forward on that occasion. Cuts it up. He gets it back. Stamatelis, nice pass to find McGowan. And McGowan gets it back from Suriaga. I think he lost his footing a little bit and will go on, but Sutherland have kept the ball with Suriaga, and the shot is inches wide. Sutherland won a corner. They're not going to get it. Very, very clean strike from Levi Suriaga. It had Hilton scrambling. It goes just wide of the post. Quarter of an hour played here at the Palace. And if you've just joined us, it's Marconi 1, Sutherland 0, courtesy of a goal from who else? Marko Jesic, his 13th of the season. That's what splits the two teams at the moment. And shout out to Dave, who's messaged me. He's tuning in, and he says, I hope it's not too cold. I'm like, well, I'm actually not too bad, although I do have like 25 layers on, so I'm not. It probably is really cold. I just can't feel it. Thanks for tuning in, Dave. Here's the cross to the far post. Maya will not reach that. For Sutherland, as they is now into the final third of the season, I suppose the challenge is to get results away from home to replicate some of the good things they've done at Seymour Shore. So looking at their last 3 home results, as I said earlier, a dramatic draw last time out against Sydney Olympic with a very, very late goal from Mitchell Stamatelis. Before that, a win over Blackham City. So that shows what Sutherland can do against one of the top teams in the league. And previous to that, at home, a 0-0 draw against Western Sydney Wanderers, also high up in the league. And McGowan, it's an interesting run there. So Sutherland building at right side in front of the canteen. The cross comes in, and it's going to be all Vella's. He heads away, but now Marconi and Vella need to step out. As Jackson finds Katsuta thought about the shot from way downtown. Instead, it goes back to Jackson. And I just realized it started drizzling again. So I'm going to have to angle my screen and protect my notes, I think. The roof here on the Marconi Tower doing just enough for now. Marconi is standing firm. Apologies, I've just noticed there's a number 26 out there. There is not a number 26 on the team list I got before the game. I'll have to clarify that for you, but here's a shot which is a little parry from Bekic, nothing that a Sutherland player can take a hold of. Easier said than done. Keep my notes dry. The wind is slightly in our faces, us on the tower, so it's not helping, certainly. As the ball comes in, and corner kick, so Marconi's fourth corner of the game. Suspect just... now I've got to resort to looking at the dribble photos and comparing them to who's out there. I reckon number 26 out there is Jacob Garner, and I think that was then him with the goal line clearance earlier to stop Temelkovsky from scoring. Because I don't think I see a 22 out there. Anyway, corner comes in, and to the far post, Windust threw himself at it. Couldn't head it back towards goal, and so it's a goal kick. There's also 3 NPL men's New South Wales games tomorrow, all at 3 p.m. So, firstly, the match of the round. It's also from Landon Stadium, Blacktown City versus Rockdale Illingdon, and that'll be called by the Russian Simon Hill, Alexander Molchanov. Hopefully, here the caller they call Pretty Boy will also be involved in the Football New South Wales or the NPL New South Wales game day Instagram stories. So, I believe that'll be Jude Dolan helping out there. And also at 3 p.m, the Battle of A-League Academies from Wanderers Football Park, Western Sydney Wanderers versus Sydney FC. Fortunately, for reasons that it's too tricky to get into here, that'll be a behind closed doors game, so unless you've got the right connections, you'll have to watch that on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. As it's worked back to the keeper by the player I think is Jacob Garner. And then also at 3 p.m, from Odense Park, Sydney United 58 versus St George FC. A rematch of, I think, a very high-scoring Australia Cup round of 32 game from about 5 years ago. But anyway, Sydney United 58 versus St George FC. That's called by Dominic Crenidi, who is also a rider in Football New South Wales. So, as Jesic is offside, despite his frustration. Good flick on, though, from Temelkovsky, but Dominic Crenidi, he writes, he commentates. He also does works in digital content for SEN, so I've decided to call him the multitasking king because he seems to do so many different things at once. Maya wanted the switch. Instead, Bowman turns the other way, and Daniel will leave that for Costanza. Costanza kind of splits the difference between Daniel and Temelkovsky. Work back to the keeper. It's been one of those evenings. It's been one of those weeks. It's just... I think it's going to be a good day weather-wise, and then it turns out not to be. Anyway, Sutherland found some nice space far side, and the cross. Jackson's the closest to it. Flick from Vela, and Maya, and he's getting the wraparound run from Vela. Didn't play it. He took a little bit of a risk, did Franco Maya. Now, here's good close control in tight spaces. I've seen that both in the outdoor and when Franco Maya plays futsal for SD Raiders, but even so, perhaps not something that the more nervous members of the Marconi fan base would have wanted to see. Ended up well for Marconi with the goal kick, and they play out. Now again, nice pocket of space from Yuli. Header. Stamatellis. And round the corner, Katsuta. And outside of the foot to McGowan. And McGowan with the nutmeg on George Daniel. And he has a few options here. He just decides to go himself. And it's straight at James Hilton. Now, so it was a late hit on Katsuta. And as Marconi, well, I don't think it's a head injury, so Marconi entitled to play on, although now the ball's out of play. Yep, Danny Horsted will stop it. Let's see. So, yep. Now, well, the physio wasn't called on, so good to see Katsuta back to his feet. I think he'll just run it off, but of course, no physio means that Katsuta can stay on the field. Windust finding Glenard, and they try to squeeze George Daniel, so back it goes. Yuli's dropping between the centre backs, and now, again, trying to play the incisive pass from deep. Touch off the chest. And Costanzo, it's ruled to be a clean challenge. Then Garner. Now, I think judging by the off-field shouts, now I'm 99% sure 26 is Jacob Garner. Again, apologies for the confusion. There's Garner back to Katsuta. Now, Marconi gradually turning the screw there. And it ends with the ball going out of play. Matthew March didn't have a play at that one. Garner again. And, well, Marconi closed off the back pass. Garner found the ball for Jackson and Stamatellis. And that's a great challenge to his Yuli. Yuli shoots, and it touch off the Sharks player, took the sting out of it. That's Vekic, who will, I think he'll really wait until he's pressured to pick it up, or is Marconi just going to let him have it? Now, oh, it's an interesting ball, and now Bowman overcooked the pass towards Temelkovsky. Vekic gathers gratefully. Stamatellis again. And McGowan with the shouts. Now Suriaga. Flag stays down, and it's a chance and an equaliser for Matthew Morich. And just like that, the Sharks with a swift move down the right. Started by Stamatellis. Jay McGowan broke the lines. Suriaga stayed onside, and he put it on a plate for Matthew Morich, and it's Marconi 1, Sutherland 1. Marconi coming off a 9-0 win. They scored the early goal. And there it is, Sutherland. Sutherland showing there's certainly no easy beats, belying their league position, because that was a very nice move. All square here at the Palace. Apologies, I'm just trying to figure out everything I have from the rain. As, Vekic, better hurry. Got there just in time. And then that's first time pass around the corner from Jackson. And the goal scorer, Modic. Well, he thinks he was fouled. And he's forced a decision by also grabbing hold of the ball. And the decision does go Sutherland's way as well. Now, if you remember, of course, this was the venue for the 2020 NPL Men's Grands Final. I believe it did rain more than this, if you can believe that. So at least it's not that bad. But I think it's only light drizzle that at least is affecting us here in the tower. But still something to be wary of. I don't think it will affect the players too much, and that's the main thing. As Costanzo is pressured there by Bevan. Now, Yuli, good foot in there, and that'll go back for a foul on Costanzo. Sutherland now certainly got more than a foothold in the game. They got the equaliser there, so just sitting off. Had everyone behind the ball. Now Marconi pushing. Bella, I think, pass going off the outside of his boot and curling away from his teammates. Now, Jesic, nice ball. The flag's going to stay down. Temelkovsky, and right at the last, Jacob Garner throwing himself in front of Temelkovsky and flies behind for a corner. Marconi's fifth. What a challenge. And the man, I think, who came up with the goal line clearance to deny Temelkovsky earlier, he's frustrated Marconi's number 9 again. Franco Meyer delivers. Sutherland header now at the back post. Garner in the way again, this time denying Linarich. George Daniel retrieves it as the rain gets heavier. Daniel to the byline, and that's a goal kick. Intensifies. And I think I've been moving gradually further and further back from the edge of this tower to protect my laptop that I've got the screen running on, the screen of this game running on at the same time. I've suddenly figured out I don't mind if my big puffer jacket gets wet, so I think the solution is I'm just going to stand in front of the laptop, and that should solve all of my problems. Or at least I'll block. Stand between the rain and the laptop, if that makes sense. Good first touch on the pressure there. And it's Costanzo trying to win the ball back, but doubling up on the ball carrier doesn't work for Marconi that time. Sharks throw. Nice first time ball, and it's McGowan. McGowan tight angle into the middle, and the support is coming eventually. That's Jackson. Decent ball, good turn from Moric. Tries to go on with it, and eventually too many green jerseys in the way. As the green jerseys go direct towards Temelkovsky, and a little stumble there, otherwise he would have put more pressure on Vekic. The Sharks keeper plays it towards halfway. Jackson. Garner. Now Damatelis. Ahmed is dropped between the central defenders. Marconi play didn't follow him. And a bit of a role reversal from what we've seen for most of this game. It's Marconi with all the players behind the ball for now. Bekic yelling the instructions. There's a lovely little fake from, I think it was Katsuta, letting the ball run across his body, so the defender pursued at the wrong angle. Sutherland take the free kick quickly. We'll go again with Modic. Broken up by Maya. Jesic. Bowman, plays to his left. The lunge from Stamatelis blocks the pass. Katsuta again, and Jackson wants the longer ball. Vela, his defending is going to be put to the test here. He's defending one-on-one with Jackson. A little spin into the byline. It's all good as far as the officials are concerned. Maya tried to dummy it, didn't fool the defender. Sutherland on the edge of the box. Suriaga, McGowan curling it, and it's in! Jay McGowan with a screamer, and Sutherland have turned it around. That was absolutely spectacular. McGowan measured it, saw it, the angle to curl it. It's gone in off the underside of the crossbar, and Marconi Stallions 1, Sutherland Sharks 2. How about that? Sutherland are getting the reward for persistence. It was, if you go back a bit, Jackson dispossessed on the byline, but then they pressed immediately, won it back, worked it, found the space for McGowan, and McGowan has scored an absolute beauty to put Sutherland in front. There we go now. Sutherland really do have quite a bit to hold on to. A 2-1 lead. Shall we say, let's check my stopwatch here. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Costanzo running, decent ball, and now Temelkovsky, and he tried to lay it off. The teammate wasn't where he thought it was. Also some handball shouts in there. Maya back into the middle. Is Temelkovsky thinking of a bicycle kick? We'll never know. George Daniel for Marconi. Windust. Vela. Back to Windust. The Sharks will... they're going to step up. They're doing it. Doing it very slowly. Happy to let Marconi have the ball in this part of the field for now. I suppose with the rain the way it is. Ever more glad that the 20s game was played on one of the synthetic backfields. Because it's pretty well... drains pretty well, at least. It certainly should handle one game of football, even in these wet conditions. And then, of course, because of those synthetic fields, Marconi can give it a rest until their next home game. Marconi free kick, and so Dominic Costanzo scored with a dead ball from an unlikely position on Wednesday night against Rockdale. This would be even more unlikely, but you never know. Even so, he's probably thinking about finding a teammate, and so the tall lads are up from the back. Now it's too direct, and it's easy for Nenad Bekic. Tight spaces there. Maya drilling it low across the wet grass. Stamatelis, good positioning. That's what you want from a central defender. And Temolkovsky will keep making those runs in behind all game. I mean, that's the kind of thing that gets you 14 goals for the season so far. And there's every chance is James Temolkovsky of getting to the 20-goal mark before this season's done. Yuli, eyes up. Goes left. Looking for Costanzo. Bevan, for a moment, didn't know what the ball was, but he gets there in time. And safety first. He slams the ball into the fence. That direct ball was blocked. So a couple of square passes and then back to Windust. Lenarich. Jesic takes over. And there's a lot of light blue jerseys in that part of the field. Marconi would have to be spot on with the touches and the passing to get through there. This will be a test of patience for the Stallions. As Yuli does a little shimmy, and it's a nice ball towards Temolkovsky. The ankles are cute. And after all that, goal kick. Certainly is. This is certainly puffer jacket and hooded jacket weather. Actually thinking about, I've got a beanie and some gloves. I think I'm going to need them at some point. Stamatelis is on the ball. And then nice tackle in the middle of the field to dispossess Siriaga. Now Temolkovsky out wide, so he delivers. That's sent emphatically away from the box. Now Siriaga loses out to Yuli. Now Vela. Yuli again. There's the cross from deep, and Temolkovsky, well, he was in space, but he was in space because he moved a little bit too early. Offside. That's, I think, the decision there. And it goes the way of the home side. But at the moment, not going the way of the home side is the scoreline. If you've missed any of the key action, of course, the joy of Football New South Wales YouTube streams, just click back a little bit and watch the action. But here's the summary. Marconi opened the scoring early on. Dominic Costanzo doing brilliantly to set up Marco Jesic's 13th of the season. But Sutherland with the response to shock the home crowd. The equaliser that came from Matthew Modric. Moved down the right. Good work from Levi Suriaga in the build-up. And then a stunning strike, a stunning curling strike in off the underside of the crossbar from Jay McGowan. That's what's put Sutherland at 2-1 in front. Katsuta room to run. It's towards that man, McGowan. The support is coming. And he shoots left-footed this time. And Vela has to be quick. That the decision has gone Sutherland's way. We start with a throw. Nice first time ball, and it's Ahmed. Good block. So Hilton not required, at least that time. But Sutherland recycle with Jackson. And the dummy from Modic. Looking to let it run for Siriaga. Green jersey's in the way, but then that's Maya conceding the throw. So progress scores. So I use my live score app to go around the grounds at Landon Stadium, approaching halftime there, just like we are here. Hills United 0, Wollongong Wolves 1, and then at Penshurst Park, about 10 minutes to play in the first half. St George City 0, Northwest Sydney Spirit 2. Stamatellis. And McGowan directs it nicely to Umabachi. And he goes direct. Lenarge. But as McGowan preventing Marconi from playing it out. And McGowan, the fancy footwork that almost got rid of two defenders. Couldn't beat the third player. That's sent long, and Katsuta was hoping the defender would miss it. That defender, Anton Lenarge, certainly didn't miss. Now, Garner. And long, but not the direction required to give March something to play at. Now, actually, it's time to keep an eye on the fourth official, Blake Eastwood. Don't always call NPL men, so sometimes I forget to look at the fourth official. But we'll see if how good my eyesight is, and we'll see how much time added on has been signaled. Again, Umabachi followed Temukovsky all the way, broke it up. Now let's. Of course, the ground announcer. Ground announcers all over that, so a minimum of 1 minute time added on to end this first half. It's been a very entertaining first half here, despite the rain and the cold. I've enjoyed watching this. And also well done to that ground announcer, certainly better than the ground announcer we had to deal with last night. As there's a bit of room, and then I think it was the anticipation, I think, from Windus to step up and close down the angle, almost like a goalkeeper, the central defender really allowing no angle for the pass. So if Marconi wants one last pop at goal before the half, they're going to have to hurry. Jackson. No foul. And Morris goes back to Garner. That is that. So it's Sutherland Sharks heading to the dressing sheds with a well-earned lead. They're leading 2-1 over Marconi Stallions as the teams scramble to get out of the rain and the cold. It was Marconi who opened the scoring through Marko Jesic. Matthew Morich found the equaliser for the Sharks, and then a brilliant strike from Jay McGowan put the Sharks 2-1 up. Worth checking out on the stream if you haven't seen it already. This is Eric Subihano on the mic for the Football New South Wales YouTube page. We'll take a break of about 10 minutes or so, and then we'll be back for the second half. Back to the second half of our coverage from the Palace, Marconi Stadium, NPL Men's New South Wales round 21 action. And perhaps a shock on the cards, because as we go into the second period, it is Marconi Stallions 1, Sutherland Sharks 2. A result certainly belying the league positions, but Sutherland have been excellent value for their lead. A wonder goal from Jay McGowan in particular to put them 2-1 in front, and the equaliser from Matthew Morich wasn't too bad either. There's the whistle. Away we go for the second half. And something possibly for old school NBA fans, you might notice this, the music that the teams walk back onto the field. The music that plays as the teams walk back onto the field for the second half. It's, I believe it's called Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project, and you may remember it as the introduction music for the Chicago Bulls during the 90s when they won 6 NBA titles. Excellent pump-up music. That is certainly what Marconi need as we head into the second 45 minutes if they are to maintain their premiership credentials. Because obviously, I mean, this is a statement of the obvious, but beating the league leaders 9-0, certainly a good thing, but they've got to back that up. And 45 big minutes coming up for the Stallions. Now, I'm so excited to hear the Chicago Bulls intro music that I wasn't actually paying attention to the fourth official to see if there are any subs made at half-time. So scanning the faces and the numbers out there, and it looks like Marconi as they were to begin the game, and Ethan Bevan also making things very difficult for Danny Horsted as Danny Horsted tells him exactly where he wants this throw-in to be taken. There it is, away we go. I'd also be surprised if Sutherland, given the game situation, made any subs at halftime. And yeah, it looks like no changes made by either side. So at the appropriate break in play, I'm going to just perhaps do a reminder of the two lineups out there. Stamatellis stepping out of the back. But now, Marconi with Vella. Just a couple of shout-outs I noticed through various group chats. A shout-out to the voice of Central Coast Football, Pete Pryor. He's tuning in. And, oh well, this could be interesting, but in the end, Umabachi sends it away. Costanzo delivers left-footed. Decent trajectory, but no green shirt to take advantage of that. As Jackson slams it into Maya, goal kick. Also, shout out to Rob, who's tuning in, and he didn't tell me, he just sent me screenshots from the stream, and I was like thinking, oh, that looks familiar. Oh, hang on, I know what he's doing. Anyway, short goal kick. And Marconi squeezed the space with Costanzo up against Bevan. So Stamatellis, that is anticipated well by Mlinaric. So Yuli, and yes, it sends it back to Windust. Sutherland, and certainly when I've seen them in recent times, they certainly don't mind letting the other team have the ball, especially in this part of the field. But as we saw for the equaliser, if they win it quickly and break, they can be very dangerous. Foot in there, I think, from Garner, and almost gave Suriaga something to chase, but back with the Marconi keeper, James Hilton. Again, Sutherland stepped up, being a little bit more adventurous with the press. Marconi, great technique to get out of it. Now, Costanzo deep on the left-hand side. Bit of a shimmy. And then, that should be Vekic's, but Temelkovsky beat Vekic to it. Forced wide. He delivers straight into the breadbasket for Nenad Vekic. And the hand up an apology for misjudging it, but there's a lesson for the kids out there. When you're making a little bit of an error from Vekic, but he didn't let his head drop. He focused on the next job, and he was in position to catch the cross. See the challenge facing Marconi as they try to get back into this game, and that loops over Mlinaric's head, so back to the keeper he goes. There's a very solid bank of 5 defenders for Sutherland. When Marconi have the ball, or when the Marconi defenders have the ball in front of that bank of 5, another solid-looking bank of 4, and just the furthest player forward, Levi Suriaga, picking his moments as to when to press. It's going to be a real test of Marconi's patience, as Stamatelis has the position ahead of Jesic. Sent to the center circle. Good touch off the chest. I love a good chested pass. Well done, Anton Mlinaric. Back to Hilton. There's the diagonal. This is the challenge for Marconi. They're trying to move them from side to side, create some gaps, but it was intercepted well, I think, by Jackson. And then, well, Temelkovsky already anticipating the back pass, so Garner had to try something else, and unfortunately the rain has resumed. And by resumed, I mean heading straight into our faces. I'm glad. The last time I went to an optometrist, they said, it's an optional prescription, so I decided, well, if it's optional, I won't get it. And wet nights like this, I'm glad I don't wear glasses, because that would just be very awkward. Yet to see, as Temelkovsky commits the free kick, yet to see a model of glasses that come with windscreen wipers. Anyway, reminder of the lineup. So for Marconi, in goal for them, number 1, James Hilton. 4 at the back from left to right. That would be number 18, George Daniel. Number 4, Anton Mlinaric. Number 3, Cameron Windust. And number 23, Brandon Vella. In central midfield, number 8, Daniel Bowman. And number 16, Liam Yuley. On the left, number 6, Dominic Costanzo. On the right wing, number 7, Franco Maya. And the 2 up front, number 10, Marko Jesic, although he does drop off. And number 9, James Temelkovsky. Good tackle from Mlinaric. Attacking throw-in coming up for Sutherland. Going back towards Umabachi as I'm getting messages about all kinds of coverage. I love it when people message me about a game and it's not the game I'm calling. It's like, well, no. It'll test my multitasking abilities, and if you know me well, certainly not one of my strong points, multitasking. I'm not Dominic Criniti by any means. Throw in from Bevan. Now, that's Yuli stepping in. Temelkovsky wanted it back from Jesic. It'll be a throw, and then that's good. More good work from Jacob Garner. He's had a good game. There's goal saving. A lunging tackle when otherwise it would have been a one-on-one opportunity. Goal line clearance, and stepped in well. Jesic dropped off, so Garner followed him and broke up the pass. Now, Katsatan. It bounces to Ahmed. So back to that man, Jacob Garner. Umebachi down the line. Mlinaric. Back over to Sutherland territory. And the touch was off Sutherland. So a ball towards the hosts. So a ball going, a decision going the hosts way. So well, actually I'll hold that thought. I'll see how this goes. This passage of play goes first. Down the line. That Jay McGowan scream. Again, another example of how quickly we work here in the Football New South Wales media team. Shout out to our fearless leader, the Football New South Wales media manager, the Greek god of Football New South Wales, Mark Stavroulakis, because that Jay McGowan stunner already clipped up for the NPL New South Wales Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages. Great to have clips of, golazos, worldies, whatever you want to call them, be posted while that game is in progress. And if you'll, as I take you behind the curtain, Stamatelis plays it over the sideline. So I did go quiet for patches after that McGowan goal because I was actually sending him a message, sending Stav a message just saying, hey, this would be good to put on socials. And clearly the Golden Greek has agreed. Costanzo pulls into space nearest to us here on the tower. Marconi tried the other side, and Garner, exhibiting one of the central defender's favorite arts, shepherding the ball over the goal line for a goal kick. Ooh, that's yes. Now, ooh, could have been a late one on McGowan, but we'll go on for now at least. That went out of the sideline surely, so... And Danny Horsted, the ref, is actually going to check on Jay McGowan first before Marconi will have their throw-in. Now, Yuli almost dribbled into a cul-de-sac. Okay. Goes backwards to get out of it. Now Bowman. And as we are reaching the time when teams traditionally like to make substitutions. So again, the benches for Marconi. The backup keepers Patrick Williams, and the other bench options Nathan Milgate, Dylan Susovic, Alexander Duricic, Miloslav Popovic, and Julian Monge. Offside against Bowman. And Popovic, reasonably talented forward, so especially if this score stays the way it is, there's a decent chance of Popovic getting some game time this evening. While for Sutherland, the backup keeper is Jacob Kremen-Cowan, the others Jordan Roberts, Samuel Bulisano, Max Green, Chris Lindsay, and Iko Aromoto. Edging towards the hour mark here at Bosley Park. Daniel facing his own byline. The pressure coming from McGowan. Good to see he's back up and running. Trying to contribute more to this game. He's already contributed a lot. That wonderful goal that has put the Sharks 2-1 up. Check out the NPL New South Wales socials if you haven't seen it already. Umabachi getting shouts from... Well, I was easily confused as a player, but that's got to be confusing when you get shouts from all different directions of the field. And so it's kind of like getting no shouts at all, because you still don't know where to play the ball. Yuli, that's a very clear shout from Costanzo. Lots of room with Bevan scrambling back. Stamatellis watching him closely. He goes for goal, and it's carried wide by Vekic. Corner kick, and by my very manual unofficial tally, the sixth Marconi corner. I don't remember Sutherland having a corner kick as of yet. And they go short. So Costanzo delivers far post, and the header from Windass. Vekic has to be up there, and he got enough of a punch, I think, to stop the close range header going in. Sutherland survive, but Sutherland are going to park the bus well. More than half an hour to play. That half an hour is going to feel like an eternity, so they've still got to be proactive, the Sharks. You think where they can. Linarich, wide to Costanzo. Daniel starts the supporting run. Costanzo cuts inside, and it's floated, and the lone shout from Vekic, letting everyone know the ball was his, and it ends up in his gloves. By the way, I'm just checking the live score up. At halftime, Penzos Park, Spirit scored a third goal, if you can believe that. So, St. George City 0, Northwest Sydney Spirit 3. More good times for the team that's earned their second Australia Cup round of 32 qualification in the last 3 seasons. A little flick from Katsuta to loop it over Daniel. He's kept the ball, and he's won the free kick. Sutherland trying to put pressure on Marconi, kind of giving them a bit of a breather after that little Marconi flurry a couple of minutes ago. Stooping header from Garner. Will go on. So Garner's got to get up in a hurry. I think he was waiting for a decision which he did not get off the officials. Umabachi guarding that, getting there ahead. Costanzo. Bevan cutting inside. All he sees is green jerseys, switches the point of attack. Nice pass. And then it's a good tackle from Vela. There, that's a foul on Maya. And the referee is very, very unimpressed with that. And we got the first yellow card of the game. The game played, I think, largely in good spirits, but I think that was number 77, Levi Suriaga. First player into the referee, actually. Now, just, I saw 7 now. It's either Levi Suriaga or Matthew Jackson. My apologies. As I look at my slightly wet laptop and that's sorry, number 27, Matthew Jackson was the player with the foul there. Left-footed set piece from Maya coming up. It's the great ball, and Jesic, I think it was, lunging. Might have got a touch on it. Whatever happened, it wasn't enough. In fact, he's now going to have a little bit of cramp stretched out. So good sporting behaviour from the Sharks captain. Kind of the captain's union there, so to speak. Stamatellis helping out his fellow skipper, Marco Jesic. Jesic, such the Marconi's fearless leader for so many years, I expect that won't be too much of an issue. Wabachi got the shout, I think. I wasn't sure who that was. But Wabachi actually, well, it's one shout to kick it out. Still getting shouts to kick it out, but Sutherland not doing that. And it's Suriaga. 2 options, but he might go himself. Levi Suriaga, and then after that, goal, corner assistance. I think that's Peter Mickelmeyer. Whistling for a corner kick. As in fact, well, Marco Jesic maybe he's decided feeling a little bit too sore to continue, so the Marconi skipper is going to make way. And it's going to be number 17, Milislav Popovic, so more or less a like-for-like substitution, a forward replacing a forward. But the first task for Popovic is to use his not inconsiderable height to defend this Sutherland corner. By the way, shout out to all the photographers out there in the cold. As it's an in-swinger, and it might go all the way in. Nearly had an Olympico. James Hilton with the fingertips to prevent the goal direct from the corner. And after going for more than an hour without a corner, Sutherland have 2 in a row. This one to be taken by Matthew Jackson. Temelkovsky is the lone player forward for Marconi to try and perhaps hoping for the counter-attack to start. Actually, no, Franco Maya is the furthest player forward, but even he's gone near the box. As again, it goes right to the 6-yard box, and it's scrambled away. Great delivery from Jackson. There's a player still on the turf. That's Temelkovsky. So, let's see. He's rolled at least onto his back. He's getting up slowly, so I think he'll be okay. Thank goodness for that. Yeah, Temelkovsky back up. As actually the winds continues to blow right in our faces here on the tower as Suriaga shot blocked by Daniel, I think that was. So keep an eye out as always for the match reports, not just of this game but of the other 2 games being played tonight. Hills United versus Wollongong Wolves and St George City versus Northwest Sydney Spirit. They'll be up later tonight on the NPL New South Wales socials. Mark Stavrolak is doing more tireless work to get those up as soon as he can. I think this one is written by, the match report for this game will be written by Madeline Riley, I believe. whoever it is, they won't have to deal with this wind. And late challenge, so Marconi free kick, and they'll step up. Chance to take a breath after that Sutherland spell of pressure. If you've just joined us, Eric Subihana here on the mic from the tower at the Palace. Sutherland leading Marconi by 2-1. Marco Jesic gave Marconi the lead in the 10th minute. In the 26th minute, Matthew Moric equalised for Sutherland. And then in the 34th minute, a wonder strike from Jane McGowan put Sutherland at 2-1 up. No more scoring since then. Plenty of action though, nonetheless. Linaric up front with Temokovsky, so you had pretty more or less a straight swap for the role Marco Jesic was playing. Here is that man, the number 17 on the ball, hoping to add to his tally of 2 goals for the season. Yuli. Cross from deep. Stamatellis heads it more sideways than forward. Almost up for grabs for Costanzo, and then Bevan's given away the free kick. Just briefly, I forgot to do a reminder at the start of the second half of the Sutherland lineup. Maybe you have time to do that now. Yeah. In goal for them, number 1, Nenad Vekic. I've got them with 5 at the back, so from left to right. Number 27, Matthew Jackson. Number 26, Jacob Garner. Number 4, Mitch Damatelis. Number 5, Takahide Imobachi. And number 23, Ethan Bevan. 4 across the midfield, so on the left, number 15, Matthew Moric. On the right, number 11, Jay McGowan. In the centre, number 2, Katara Katsuta, and number 8, Mohamed Ahmed. And the ploughing the lone furrow up front, number 77, Levi Suriaga. But even so, he has set up a goal this evening, the number 77. Got that done just in time for the Costanzo free kick. Another great delivery. Dominic Costanzo, such a dead ball expert, takes a Sutherland touch. And it will be a corner kick for the hosts. You never get a game of football without the ref having to sort out shenanigans in the 6-yard box at a corner at least once. Actually did well to get to the 67-minute mark before that happened. Sometimes it only takes 67 seconds. Costanzo's corner to the near post, and it's sent away, I think, by Umebachi. That wind continuing to blow towards the tower here. They're kind of having to turn sideways, trying to use the side of my hoodie and try and shield from myself from the wind. However, because I want to look at the game, this isn't really working. So apologies if I sound a little bit uncomfortable in the closing stages. Costanzo crosses off someone's knee, I think Ahmed's knee. They're so deep are Sutherland. That's why Marconi are having trouble to find space, but inviting pressure is a dangerous thing. Header from Stamatellis. And Windust up and towards Daniel. Stamatellis, I think it is shouting for his players to step up, because you can't just keep inviting your opponents onto you, otherwise 22 minutes plus stoppages would feel like a very long time. And Sutherland have the ball. Ooh, it's an interesting pass, but Bevan's done well to avoid the pressure from Costanzo. And it goes back to Vekic. Yuli leaps, but only finds Stamatellis. McGowan. Stamatellis for the moment in midfield, offering himself as an option. Instead it goes longer. Off Linaric, then Windust sends it up into the night sky. Second goal at Landon Stadium. Hills United 0, Wollongong Wolves 2. That, shall we say, the race to the bottom 2, if these scores stay the way they are, getting a lot more interesting. McGowan, 1-2 with Katsuta. McGowan's a couple of options in the middle. No rush, so it seems, but then tries to dance past Daniel. And Daniel not having any of that. Now he's pinned up against his own corner flag. And again, the whistle His left is not used. While McGowan slowly gets up, and that's nice work from Moric. Does have options with him. Here's Ahmed. McGowan back to his feet now. That's nice, and Moric just skips away from Moric. Nice idea though. They had created some space for the number 15. Header and good numbers forward for Marconi, including this man, Milislav Popovic, as the light blue jerseys hurry back as quick as they can. Now, Costanzo. Still Costanzo, sent over the sideline. Now, looking at the live table, of course, plenty of time for this to change. In bottom, if tonight's scores stay as they are, would be Central Coast Mariners on 12 points. Second last would be Sydney FC with 15 points. A win here would take Sutherland to 17 points, and then you'd have Hills United on 18 points if they lose against Wollongong. Vekic is up and doesn't reach it. Goal kick. Also, but just is a very niche aside. If Spirit win tonight, it makes the what I call the Eric Subihano Justin Smith Cup very interesting, because Manly United would be on 26 points and Northwest Sydney Spirit would be on 24 points, only 2 points behind Manly, with a game in hand, and that game in hand actually being played Tuesday night at the Arctic Circle when they play Sutherland Sharks. An 8 p.m. kickoff in June at the Arctic Circle. I'm glad I'm not calling that game. Best of luck to Alexander Molchanov. I think he's been assigned that game. Yuli sees the open player. That's Vela, and I think Vela also the armband wearer now that Marko Jesic has been substituted. Temokovsky. And a little slip. And I think firstly avoided handballing it inadvertently. Then he's won the free kick, so from losing his footing, Temokovsky's done very well to win this latest set piece for the hosts. Set piece coming up. Good ball, and Sutherland with the first touch, but it's not out of the box. Now it's out of the box. You get the feeling. And Sutherland start to tire. It might start to feel like a siege in front of Nenad Vekic's penalty area. Suriaga chasing. And back to the keeper it goes, but it's a little bit under hit. Hilton had to slunge just to make sure that Suriaga didn't have a chance on goal. That back pass a little bit more comfortable for Hilton. And now, I think that's Popovic. Popovic past that, shall we say, draws a question from one of his teammates. And now, Katsata for the Sharks. Good ball to McGowan. McGowan low to the near post. Windust away, but first time effort, I think. Yeah, it's Ahmed, and it's in! Mohammed Ahmed! An unbelievable goal. Sutherland are now leading by 3-1. That was incredible. The strike clean as a whistle. And Sutherland, with their 3 goals here at the Palace tonight, are they on their way to 3 valuable points? Look at the celebrations. You can see what it means to them. That was a brilliant goal. My goodness. The way it just sat up for Ahmed, you knew he was going to strike it first time. Even he, I'm sure, wouldn't have thought he was going to hit that as well as he did. James Hilton with no chance. It goes in off the underside of the crossbar. Marconi 1, Sutherland 3. The team only scored 16 goals in the league all season. Heading into this one, they've scored 3 valuable goals on this very cold, wet and windy evening at Bosley Park. Now, bit of room to run. Yeah, they'll be in the mood for more, of course, with Suriaga, although his teammate in the middle had to stay on side. Suriaga. I think, yeah, that's nothing. That's not a dive or a foul, that's just boots colliding. No one was, no intent there for anything, just two players moving towards the ball. And the Sharks still have it. At least the wind is now going, as we look at things, left to right, so that's kind of less in our faces. And all the wet weather gear is out, using what we can to protect the electronics and the camera. And Sutherland now with a 3-1 lead also have a free kick. Jackson, outswinger, and not, well, take 2 goes to get it out of the area. Little juggle, and then Yuli sends it towards halfway. Is there potential for a counter-attack here? Costanzo, you think so? And that wind, combination of the wind and the rain, that's really awkward for me. It's digged out, and I think that was just more of a safety first thing. No real options there. Left-footed cross, and Temelkovsky's in there, and he's pulled one back. James Temelkovsky, 15 for the season. And Sutherland didn't have that 2-goal lead for long, so it looks like we're going to have a grandstand finish at the Palace. Great ball in there, I think, from Franco Maya. That educated left foot of his was right on the money for James Temelkovsky. What a signing he's been for the Stallions. And we are set for a very exciting final quarter of an hour. Now, the use of body from Katsutars won the free kick against Windhurst, and that, you'd think Sutherland certainly in game management mode now, so these are the kind of situations where they're going to start moving a lot slower to take the sting out of the game. Hilton signals for 2 on the ball. And it's a great ball, and was that Umabachi up? He does, he got there ahead of the defence. It's not very fun. Umabachi gets up, heads wide. Now, there's a flick on, and Popovic is in there, but so is Umabachi, back to the day job, so to speak. And then, well, it's a challenge. And I think that was Temelkovsky who is going to, is that Bowman, but whoever it is, protesting their innocence. But the officials not pleased with that challenge. And will we see the physio come on for the Sharks? Temelkovsky was convinced he got the ball, but as they say, the decision of the officials is final. The ground announcer trying to give his team a bit of a rev up. I was going to say one last rev up, but there's 10 minutes plus stoppages, so I feel like we're going to hear his voice again. Great first touch. In fact, the new player on the field, number 14, is Dylan Susovic. So apologies. I'll try and figure out who Susovic replaced. Number 34, Julian Monge, also onto the field. Yuli. And Yuli has two players around him, gets rid of it quickly, although might have copped a bit of a late knock. Temokovsky can't keep up with that one. Now, Sutherland substitution coming up, so I think I see a 3, which would mean number 3, Jordan Roberts. And he's replacing the man who scored Sutherland's unbelievable third goal, the number 8, Mohammed Ahmed, who is getting off the field eventually. As I said, game management mode, and Ahmed getting some congratulations from Matthew Jackson for his work this evening, his tireless work in the center of the field. So I wonder... I think every time I've seen Jordan Roberts, he's been a fullback, so let's see, because Bevan and Jackson are still on the field. It looks, at least for now, like Roberts is going into into a midfield position. Moric towards McGowan. 1-2 broken up by Yuli. In fact, well, lots of changes there. Marconi. There's the one problem with this position being opposite the technical areas. Marconi just snuck 3 players onto the field while I wasn't looking. So number 15 is Alexander Duricic. And then that would leave... They'd have one more sub, I believe, because they still got a window. And the unused substitutes now for Marconi, Nathan Milgate, and the backup keeper, Patrick Williams. Has waved everyone forward, goes for distance towards Suriaga, but it's over him and headed by Windust. Roberts looks like he's left of that Sutherland midfield bank of 4, although I reckon he'll do a lot of defending as well. I assume that's why he's been brought on, to see if Sutherland can close this out and gain what would be a priceless win. It would take him out of the bottom 2. Decent ball, and swings away from all the defenders. First time strike, takes a touch. Corner coming up. There's the ground announcer again. Actually, in a previous life, I think when I was doing work for the Wanderers, I believe I have operated that PA system for a Y-League game. The National Youth League, remember that? Good times. Here's the corner. Headed away. Obviously, everyone back for Sutherland. So, Yuli, only person back him is the keeper, Hilton. He sends it into the mix. Flick on. And Popovic across the face of goal. And somehow that is missed. That could have been the equalizer. Popovic with the ball right where you want it. Into the middle of the 6-yard box. And the chance has gone begging. Yeah, so the Sutherland sub, and Jacob Garner had an excellent game. He's got an early mark. So who's the player coming on? I'm going to guess that that's Chris Lindsay. I'm going to lean on my NPL 2 watching experience. I think that looks like a man who used to play for North Shore Mariners. Yep, there's a number 14. I haven't forgotten everything yet. So Chris Lindsay on at the left centre back, leftmost of the three centre backs, if that makes sense, for Sutherland Sharks. Chris Lindsay replacing Jacob Garner. If Marconi aren't in kitchen sink time, they're very close to it. Windust on. Nice ball to George Daniel. The two former Mariners Academy players linking up there. Headed away. Now Levi Suriaga, I think. And he's got two runners. So he's played it. He was looking, I think, for Roberts. And Roberts, they challenged. That is as subtle as some of my in-commentary jokes. That was always going to be a free kick. There we go. Well, there you go. There's Nathan Milgate. So they actually have used all the maximum of 5 subs. Have Marconi. Decent flick on from Milgate. Sutherland dealt with it well. And there's Suriaga. He's trying to curl it towards Roberts. That is only ever going to go to James Hilton. Susovic. Now Yuli. Vela. Over Temokovsky. Away by Umabachi. Yuli. One shout. I think that might have been from Maya out on the left. Now Duricic. That will just go out for a goal kick. Sutherland preparing another sub. Now, I think this would be the final one because they've only used 3, but this is the final window that they are about to utilize. And it's going to be number 77, Levi Suriaga. He makes way. And the man who set up Sutherland's equaliser, the goal that gave them a foothold from which they've gone on to have this strong position. Levi Suriaga is off. He's replaced by number 9, Max Green. Green straight into the action, but Duricic wins the header. Now, when in doubt, just go down the line. That's what Bevan has done. Green chases that. Header from Windust. McGowan, nice feed. And he's won the free kick as well. The flag's up from Hayden Mickelmeyer, the assistant nearest to us. Hilton being very particular with the positioning of the 2-player wall. And McGowan. Just keep it short. But nice flick towards Matthew Modric. He has some options. Well, there was one at the edge of the box. It was Umabachi, but broken up. Katsuta keeps it alive. Here's Roberts. Shouts, I think, from the Sutherland technical area to keep it. They go backwards. That'll, of course, give Marconi something to chase. And they'll step up. Long towards Katsuta. Good header from Duricic. Now Umabachi. That's Roberts, but has left the ball behind him. It was looking promising on that left-hand side for Sutherland. Into the 90th minute. Let's keep an eye on Blake Eastwood, but before that, let's keep an eye on this Sutherland attack. Here's McGowan. They'll send him wide, but to be fair, he probably doesn't mind that at this stage of the game. Katsuta. Oh, the shimmy. The drop of the shoulder from McGowan. Needs the tackle from Dordicic, but this is absolutely perfect as far as Sutherland and Sharks are concerned. Yeah, they just keep it right by the corner flagged. Now, by the way, I can hear Nenad Vekic, Sharks keeper, yelling out the instructions as that's a goal kick. And the light blue jerseys have to go back to their defensive positions. Now, well, I missed the fourth official board. I think the ground announcer has as well. So apologies for both, on behalf of both of us. Slip from Hilton, it's given Green a chance, and off Millgate, and the Sharks bench love that. It allows them to run down a few more seconds. By the way, well, high drama at Penshurst Park as well. St George City have pulled 2 goals back, so it's now St George City 2, Northwest Sydney Spirit 3. Wollongong Wolves still leading Hills United by 2-0 in the 89th minute. Now Stamatellis sucked him in there and wins the free kick. One last shout out of the NPL women's action, which you can see tomorrow on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. So 1 washout, which for a game that was meant to be today, but 6 games from NPL Women's that'll be shown tomorrow. So the action starts at 3 p.m. from Lambert Park. RPL Leichhardt hosts Bulls FC Academy, 3rd versus 4th, and that's called by the Serbian Martin Tyler Nikola Pozda. 4 p.m. tomorrow, Northern Tigers versus Football New South Wales Institute, called by Mark DePaoli. 3 women's games at 5 p.m. tomorrow. I'll be on the mic from the shipping container in Rudy Hill. Blacktown Spartans versus the league leaders Illawarra Stingrays. Also at 5 p.m. Manly United versus Northwest Sydney Spirit. And also at 5 p.m. the team that broke my heart by eliminating the Flying Bats from the Sapphire Cup. That's Sydney University. They're so mean, but Sydney University hosting Emerging Jets, and that game will be called by Annabelle Banfield. Then at 5:10 p.m. from the Arctic Circle, Gladesville Ravens host MacArthur Rams. That'll be called by Melissa Muscat, and tonight's camera operator Jaden will have another very cold venue filming at the Arctic Circle, a 5:10 p.m. kickoff there. There's also the women's second-tier match of the round, League One Women's, 3 p.m. tomorrow on the Central Coast, unless it's washed out. But if it's not washed out, 3 p.m. Central Coast Mariners versus Bankstown City, called by the voice of Central Coast football, Pete Pryor. Good ball out to Maya. First time cross. And attacking into the back stick. It's still alive for Popovic. Handball and a penalty. And the ball's gone in, but we're going to go back for the penalty. And the chance for the latest of late drama here at the Palace. The pressure has told. It's given Marconi this late opportunity. We've had about 3 minutes of time added on. Now, who is going to have the responsibility for the spot kick? Oh, this could be a huge moment in the context of both teams' seasons. It's going to be James Temolkovsky, the Marconi sharpshooter, up against the former Marconi goalkeeper, Nenad Vekic. He's trying all the mind games by questioning the positioning of the ball on the spot. So the ref is going to check it. And he's decided everything's okay. Ref checking for encroachment as well. But Temolkovsky versus Vekic. Here we go. And he scored. It's a sweet 16th of the season for James Temolkovsky. And it's 3-3. He looks to have rescued a point for Marconi in the 94th minute. And right at the death, they were 3-1 down with about 15 minutes remaining in normal time. James Temolkovsky has scored twice. And it's Marconi Stallions 3, Sutherland Sharks 3. Vekic guessed the right way, couldn't get to the ball in time. What a game we've had here in Bosley Park. Now, Well, for me at least, because I didn't see the fourth officials board. A rather old school footballing experience. I don't know how much time added on there is, and Marconi's got a free kick. Won by Temolkovsky, who of course is on a hat-trick, and if he wants to have a chance at completing that hat-trick, he better stop messing around and get in the box. Yeah, you know where this is going. There's a lot of tall players out on the field there for Marconi. Franco Meyer, well, the first thing Franco Meyer wants is 10 yards. He wants Jay McGowan to be 10 yards away from the ball. Now, here we go. We've already had a lot of drama and a lot of late drama. Now, here we go. Full concentration required from both sets of players. Meyer delivers. Nice ball, and it was onto a Marconi head, and is cleared, I think, by Roberts. And on we go. Vela sends it backwards. Hilton doesn't mess around. Flick on from Windust. Let's play forward, and that's it. It's full time. A 6-goal thriller to warm up a cold Saturday night. Marconi Stallions 3. Sutherland Sharks 3. Marko Jesic, Marconi's captain, opened the scoring in the 10th minute. Sutherland equalized in the 26th minute through Matthew Morich. And then 8 minutes after that, they took the lead, courtesy of a spectacular goal from Jay McGowan. It was 2-1 to Sutherland at the break. Mohammed Ahmed scored an unbelievable goal from 30 yards out to make it 3-1 to Sutherland. Now, that wasn't it. Far from it. James Temolkovsky scored with about 15 minutes remaining to make it 3-2. And then, as we just saw, in the 4th minute of time added on, Temolkovsky scored from the spot to make it 3-0, his 16th of the season. We hope you stick around on the Football New South Wales YouTube page for the final stages of the game at Penshurst Park between St George City and Northwest Sydney Spirit. Plenty of goals in that one as well. And 3 NPL men's games tomorrow for you, all at 3 p.m. Blacktown City versus Rockdale Illington, called by Alexander Molchanov. Western Sydney Wanderers versus Sydney FC. And there's also Sydney United 58 versus St George FC, called by Dominic Criniti. But for now, this is Eric Subihano on behalf of our camera operator Jaden and Football New South Wales signing off. We hope you're a lot warmer than we are here at Bosley Park. Take care, have plenty of good vibes, great coffee, sick tattoos, razzlers, and may you watch plenty more high-scoring thrillers this season. See you next time.